So I'm here with week 10 of my mixed media challenge. All the images that I use here today are free to download from my Facebook group. The link's in the description box below. All you've got to do is join, answer the 3 joining questions, and the images for this project and all of the previous ones that I've done so far are there in the files section. So the first thing I've done is I've gotten the background pages and ripped them all up into little segments to collage. Now you might think, well, why bother doing that? Why not just stick the background page, which is already a collage, straight onto the page? And you absolutely can do that, but by ripping them up and adding them in different orientations, and you know, even just the action of adding rips to the side, it's going to add texture to your background, because whatever you add over the top, we're going to be adding paints, etc., is going to settle in all of those little nooks and crannies that you've created by doing your collage, and it adds interest. So this is just going to be a background. It's going to get muted down with paints, but you're still going to be able to see those travel theme interesting bits of ripped up paper are still going to show through. And I do think anybody can do collage, because there's no specific way of doing it. You just rip the pieces up and just layer them and fill the page. And even if you don't have matte mediums or paints or anything, anybody can do this, just sticking and gluing. I always use a glue stick, well, generally use a glue stick for collage for the background, because it dries fast. You're not adding any wetness to the page. When you're adding wetness to the page, you've got more drying time, etc. So a glue stick's more than adequate. So here I'm showcasing or interviewing, as I like to call it, my focal images. So these are all free. You can get them and give it a try. There's no right or wrong, and you can do what you like. Some people make cards, some people make tags, some people do the art journaling along with me. So I'm just sort of thinking about where I'm going to put them, and I do carefully think about that before I do the rest of the background, because I like to make my background enhance my images, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no point doing loads of fancy background on bits that are going to get covered up, so I will strategically do my background once I've planned where my main focal points are going to go. So here I'm adding even more texture and more interest with just some simple dictionary page, and I've ripped them in like pointy triangles, and I'll do one going in one direction and one going in the other. And again, this is adding texture. It's adding texture to the page. The paints that I'm going to add on shortly and things like that are all going to settle in all of these pieces of paper around the edges, and it gives kind of a depth. Although some mixed media artists are far better at adding depth than me, you know, even if you're a beginner, this kind of thing will just add texture. As I say, because all your paints or your inks or whatever you add will all settle. And here I'm using just some Amazon packaging. My team got a new ring light the other day, and to my utter delight, there was a heap of brown paper in there. I love this stuff. It's brilliant for collage. Absolutely love it. And again, it's a different kind of paper, so it's a different texture. It will take the whatever you put over the top will take differently to it, because it's a different kind of paper, and this all adds texture. And this is me struggling with my matte medium, which is in a squeezy bottle with a silly nozzle. It absolutely drives me bonkers, but I'm going to use it. Once it's done, I'm going to make sure the next one I buy has got a large screw lid, so I can get a big paintbrush in there. It's good stuff is this, but it's too thick for a squeezy bottle, so I struggle every time. So I'm scooping it out and then just painting it on. I'm covering the whole entire thing. And your matte medium will make sure that everything's glued down properly, a bit like decoupage glue. And it will also seal those pages, so whatever I put over the top, it's not going to make any of the ink run, it's not going to make the paper soggy, and whatever paint, if I want to take this paint off, because I've put the matte medium on, I can. So I'm just adding a thin layer of gesso to tone down those pages, because it's a background. I don't want it to take over, it's a background. And then drying in between. Anytime you add anything wet, you must dry it before you add anything else, otherwise you end up with a big soggy mess. And here I'm adding matte medium to my focal points before I even glue them down. Just sometimes it's the way that I do it. I don't really suppose it matters, but it just saves me from forgetting to do it. And again, then whatever I put over top is not going to spoil my images. It's not going to make the ink run because I only use printer paper. And this is actually lightweight cardstock. Now, some people have said that their matte medium that they use makes the ink run. And I think that just depends on the kind of matte medium you've got. I've got one and it can sometimes make the ink run. And then I've got others that don't. So sometimes it is trial and error, finding a matte medium that you like and that suits you. Okay, but if you paint it on gently and going in one direction and don't keep going over and over it, then the ink shouldn't run because you're not saturating. So here I'm playing with one of my new paints, and this is one that I've made because I wanted it to have quite a vintagey colour. So if you're new to mixed medium, I recently bought raw umber, burnt umber, raw sienna and burnt sienna, and those are variations of browns. And if it says raw, then it's a cool tone, and if it says burnt, it's a warm tone. And these are really awesome basic kind of browns to have, because you can use them to mix in with other colours as well. I'll do more on that as we progress with the challenge, and I do more weeks. As I'm learning, I'll try and explain more to you about how you can use those to mix your colours and tone colours down, warm colours up, make your colours darker and lighter without using just black or white. So there, I've added it to the edges because, like I say, I want like a vintagey look. I do think these paints would be really good to make almost like faux coffee or tea-dyed papers as well. I'm going to be having a go at that. So here I'm using a technique that I watched a lady use, and I'm going to leave her name here. Her name is Sean Petite. I'm going to add it on the screen in just a moment. There you go. And what she does is she will add some paint, as you can see me doing here, to a plastic or shrink wrap or whatever, and then add it to the page. And you can see there it adds wonderful texture. Does this on canvases and all sorts of things. Now I start wiping mine because I'm trying to make it a bit smoother, and I kind of ruin the effect. And then I decide that I want to be able to see some of those strips underneath as well. So I get a cloth and I do rub some of it off, but I've left some of it on, and you can see it adds texture. So it is a good technique that I will use again. I think maybe I added a little bit too much paint on my plastic sheet. And then here I've mixed a blue to go on my background, and it's the same blue that's in the suitcases, and it also kind of brings out the colour of that globe as well. And again, I've got some paints, and I've been playing with mixing the colours, bringing them warmer, bringing them lighter, things like that. And it's not a deep colour, it's quite a pale colour, which you might think is weird on a vintage kind of a layout, but it's just a little hint of colour. And you can see again that's adding texture. It's making that page look like it's got loads and loads of texture on it. I'm going in again with I think this is actually, which one have I used there? Raw sienna, I think that one is. It's either raw sienna or, yeah, I think it's raw sienna. And it gives that lovely dark vintagey colour edging to the pages. Absolutely love it. I'm going to be playing with that lots. And then to bring just a little hint of light, so it's not too dark and grungy, I'm just adding some dots here and there with a stencil and some gesso on a damp sponge, so that it's quite a pale look. But again, it's adding texture. We've done it in different directions to draw the eye, and it's all just about adding layers. Just keep playing. And then here, this is another new tool that I've bought myself. It's a graphite pencil. And I'm using it here to bring back out the edges of those ripped pieces of paper so that you can see them, and you just lightly draw that on and then just rub it with your finger. And if you add water to it, it will go really dark, and it blends quite nicely. It wasn't overly expensive. I think I bought it in a set, and yeah, it's really fun to play with. And my idea was to try it for shading around images and things. and it's almost, well, it's graphite, so it's a little bit like charcoal or pastels, I suppose, that kind of a look. And it's really interesting, and I'm having fun at the moment trying different things and different techniques and different products that aren't overly expensive, that can help add interest to your page. So now I'm gluing down my images. Now my matte medium is not terribly brilliant at actually gluing the images down, so I've gone back to my glue stick, my trusty glue stick. I'm going to actually be trying the golden matte medium when the one that I've currently got is run out. But I'm not into buying heaps of things and having them all sat on my shelf, so I will use what I've got and then try a different one when that's run out. So here I'm just adding my elements and my words, and you can still see all of the detail of all of those collage pieces, the ripped bits of paper, then we've got the layers of paint, and then we've got the layers of that burnt sienna, and it's all just coming together really nice. Now here's another thing that I learned from the lovely Sean Petite, and that is stamping or stenciling onto tissue paper. Now, when I first ever saw anybody do this, I thought, well, what's the point? Just stamp straight onto the page. However, this gives you a bit more control. So here I've used a stencil, and it's a multi-word stencil, and I'm showing you there. It's just normal tissue paper and a waterproof archival ink. Waterproof archival ink. And the reason that it's good and to do this is because you can home in on just one image. If you've got a multi, I'm actually going to do it here. So this is a multi-word stencil, but I don't want it the whole thing. I just want to highlight words. So I'm just going to stencil out just individual words, then I can cut them out. Also, there's nothing worse than having a lovely background and then you stamp on it or stencil on it and it doesn't look right and you can't get it off. Whereas here you can do it on some tissue. If it's not done it right, you've misstamped or you've not done it correct, you can do it again. And then if you use your matte medium on this, the tissue obviously will go, you won't see it, it blends into the page. So that's a brilliant technique to try. So have a look what you've got in your stamps or your stencils and see what you could use. It'd be really cool to do numbers or things like that. As I say, sometimes if you stamp on a textured journaling page, the stamps don't always, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you'll misstamp and then you get frustrated. So doing it this way is a really good alternative way of doing it. And tissue paper's cheap as chips. So give it a try. I had real good fun with that. I could have gone mad and done loads. And then I'm outlining here. I tried the graphite pencil and decided that I needed some colour. So I'm using a brown watercolour pencil here. I can't remember exactly what shade, but looking at the screen I can tell that it's a Stampin' Up watercolour pencil. Probably ground espresso. And then going in with a thin brush and just a little bit of water, and I'm starting to get my shading on point. I've got it nailed. It's taken me a good few weeks, but I figured out how to do the shading when I'm actually really happy with the results, and that just highlights those. And then I'm going in with the graphite pencil again and just outlining those sentiments. It frames them and it gives it a lovely grungy smoky look. I'm really thrilled. That is the best thing, and you can either do it with your hand or use those little paper stubs, as I call them, stumps. Okay, so that's my completed page. Took me rather a while, but I'm quite pleased with it. There's lots of texture. I like how the graphite pencil makes it look kind of like dirty and textured, like it would if you were in a old train station, and all the different layers. And I'm really pleased with how that turned out, but we've still got some nice colour with the images, so it's vintage without being too dark. And they brought out the blue there that I mixed carefully to match these blue suitcases, just to lift a little bit of colour. And I really like this technique. I just wish I stamped these in brown in potting soil, and then I did these in black. I wish I'd done them the same. However, it makes them kind of pop out of the page a bit by doing them in different colours. So there we go. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.